All right. Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please say yes on the chat. So if you can all hear me, do say yes. Okay. All right. Good to see all of you here. Awesome. Okay. Good stuff. All right. I'll just check with on YouTube as well. I think a lot of people are joining on YouTube. So this session is one of the few we are doing on YouTube. Other ones will all be on the Edyst platform, but we're doing this one on YouTube. So yeah. All right. Let me just check out if everybody can hear me. It looks like everybody can. Okay, good to know. Second. Awesome. All right, I'm audible. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Okay, so how's everybody feeling about CodeVita? About TCS CodeVita? How are you all feeling about TCS CodeVita, guys? How are you feeling? Nervous, not nervous? Do tell me something. Correct. Less time, more to learn. Yep, that's there. I mean, if you just started preparing for coding, then yes, that is the case. Very nervous, somebody is saying. All right. Others? Others? Anything? Little bit. Okay. Looks simple but difficult while doing. Yeah, that is CodeVita. If you're feeling that way, then yes, you've reached to the correct conclusion with regards to CodeVita. Very nice. Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. So in today's session, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about actually about CodeVita, how you can actually practice for CodeVita, what are the important concepts to practice within CodeVita, and then the practice questions. So how you can go around about actually practicing the questions that are there. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of these things over here. Okay. All right. So first things first is about CodeVita. The good thing about CodeVita, or the bad thing, is CodeVita is an open book test. It's an open book test, meaning that you can actually search anywhere for the answer. The thing is, you will not get it. You will not get an answer. You won't get an answer. So what's the point of keeping it an open book test? Well, the reason they keep it an open book test is you don't have to memorize unnecessary formulas, or you're able to find formulas and so on. So use the internet to actually find formulas, for example, find formulas, look up Stack Overflow if needed, right? For implementing something. So what they want to do is they want to give you the chance of actually looking up things, figuring things out on your own and so on, right? That's what they're actually trying to do over there. So it's usually an open book test. There are overall 6 questions. So there will be 6 questions over there, 6 questions, each with different difficulty. I'll tell you exactly what you can expect in each of the 6 questions. So I'll just tell that right now. But with different difficulty are there and all. You are safe if you do last year, even if you did 1+ questions, 1+ questions means you get interview opportunity. Last year it was this case. Generally speaking, if you did generally speaking, if you do 2+ questions, good chance of interview. So there's a really good chance that you end up getting an interview if you did around 2 or more questions. But last year, even one or more question was worth it. 1 or more question would have also got you an interview last year, right? So this is overall about CodeVita and what are the things you can do with it. There are a bunch of different other stuff as well, like the coding questions. The coding languages. Many coding languages are allowed to you guys. So yeah, 1 second. So the kind of coding languages that you can choose is Java, C, C++, Python, I think JavaScript, bunch of things. There are hundreds, not 100, but I think up to 20, 25 languages are allowed to do in CodeVita. So that you can take up. Now, most of you students are either doing C++, Java, or Python. So stick to that. Whatever you guys want to do, just stick to that one. That's fine to do. All right. Okay. So this is a little bit about CodeVita and the format. I think you all must be somewhat familiar with the format as is. Let's go to what are the kind of concepts you need to know for each format. Okay. So now CodeVita has been running for about 10 years. We have had some idea about this will be like the 10th season, by the way. So it's going to be the 10th season. We have some idea on what are the kind of questions that CodeVita ends up asking, right? So generally speaking, excuse me, generally speaking, from questions 1 to 3 will be easier, and question 4 to 6 will be a little bit more difficult. Okay. 1 to 3 will be easier, and 4 to 6 will be difficult. Somebody asking about cognizant. So we are not covering cognizant here. We're covering mostly, CodeVita over here. If Cognizant is visiting your college, please do let us know. We're happy to, cover things about Cognizant as well. Anyways, so coming back over here about important topics in question 1 to 3. Typically speaking, you should look at, topics like patterns, logic-based questions, like just about like HCM, LCF, HCF, LCM, and those kind of things, factorials, prime numbers, and so on, right? Okay, somebody's saying, can you speak loudly? Okay, am I audible to everybody? Could you all hear me? I'll also just check. Okay, voice is clear, but let me also just check if, yeah. All right, let me come closer to the mic a little bit. It's a pretty hefty mic, but let me just come a little bit closer to it. You might want to increase your volume as well, right? Your speaker volume, I guess. All right, so again, continuing. So, your HCF, LCM, those kind of questions in logic, factorials, prime numbers. Now, the thing about CodeVita is they will never ask you one of these topics. They will always ask you a combination of these topics. They're not just going to ask you one topic. They're going to ask you a combination of these particular topics. So they won't just ask you prime numbers, but they will actually ask you which prime numbers are factors of the following factorials, right? So those are the kind of things that they'll actually ask you. Same thing with calculations. So in calculations, generally speaking, they ask geometry or financials. Financials meaning things like income tax, compound interest, simple interest, and so on are the kind of things that they end up asking. 1 second. Yeah. All right. So just checking if my team has messaged me on something. They have not. All right. So and you're coming back. So they might ask you on calculations. They might ask you questions like income tax or compound interest, or in geometry they might ask you something like in circle, trigonometry or whatever. They actually ask you those kind of things. You don't need to remember all the formulas out there because it's an open book test. And that's the entire point of the open book, that you find that formula, implement that formula properly over here with the constraints of the programming language. Okay. Again, they will not ask you just, hey, can you calculate the compound interest? No, they will take 3 banks. Each bank is having a different compound interest rate. You actually calculate it. Then they'll tell you, sort it as per the rate or the interest rate, but first sorted on the principal amount and so on. So they're going to give you like 2-3 steps within the questions. They're not just going to give you the particular formula, but they're actually going to give you 2-3 steps within the question itself. So you'll have to take not just the application of formula, but those steps also. Then comes arrays. So in arrays, you need to know the typical stuff, that is maximum element, minimum element, frequency of elements, searching and sorting, and so on. This is the minimum stuff you need to know. And again, as I've been saying, it's going to be a combination of all of those concepts. It's not just going to be like find the maximum element in the array, find the minimum element. No, it's going to be a combination of all of those concepts, not just one of these. And in strings, generally like mapping characters and frequency, we'll probably look at one such question over here today. So these are the concepts you can expect generally in questions 1 to 3, and 1 to 3 are your easier questions. In question 4 through 6 or 4, 5, 6, you can then expect questions on data structures, though generally speaking, CodeVita does not ask queues, but I'm just telling you the only data structure I've seen is queues. In fact, not even queues, I would say priority queues or heaps is what they generally end up asking. So heaps, maps, and graphs is generally what they ask. Or advanced maths like Fermat's theorem, Lucas theorem. Now, those of you who don't know what Fermat's theorem or Lucas theorem is, this is something we cover in our algorithms and data structures bootcamp. It's not something that you can just pick up right away. We have tutorials on the CodeVita preparation pack. So just take a look over there, or if your college is associated with us, we already have enabled that for you, so you can go ahead and check that out. But the point being that this is a little bit of an advanced concepts over here, and they don't just take this, they take a combination of advanced maths with something else. A good question for you to understand what I'm talking about is, there's a question called as lazy student. So just go ahead and check out this question called lazy student. You'll be able to understand better what this is about. Then comes dynamic programming. So there is like 1D and 2D memorization. Generally, they'll not go above this. They're not going to go into things like digit DP. They're not going to go into things like dynamic programming over graphs and so on, or over trees and all. They're not going to do that. They just typically, I've not seen them go beyond 2D DP. But still, they could ask something else. And then finally is backtracking and recursion. Generally speaking, this involves game solving. Like they might give you a game of crosswords. This is a very famous question asked by CodeVita multiple times. Crossword, where you have to actually solve the particular crossword over there. Or they might give you a question like, Sudoku, and you have to actually write a Sudoku solver, right? So questions 4 to 6 will be a little bit more difficult. And generally speaking, this will still be like, even all the questions combined from 1 to 6, the difficulty level will still be less than Hack with Infi. Up until now, this is our observation. The difficulty level is still going to be much lesser than what, Hack with Infi, like difficulty level you guys are getting. So it's still going to be much, much lesser than that, or a little bit lesser at least. Like at max, the question 5 or 6 might come closer to that. However, the implementation of all these questions is very tedious. It's a very lengthy question always. So don't think you'll finish all 6 questions. It's not meant that you can finish all 6 questions. Choose the 2 easiest questions and finish those. If you have more time after that, then finish the 3rd question. So that's the general strategy. I had given a strategy for Hack with Infi also, and those of you who followed it actually were able to crack it. So strategy for you guys is that focus on 2 easiest questions and solve those. Then if you have time, go for the 3rd question, right? Whichever you want. And it might just so happen that the 2 easiest questions may not be the first 2 questions, right? You might find the 4th question to be easier than the first 2 questions. It's possible. So, just keep your, just go through all the questions really quickly, figure out what the 2 easiest questions and solve those first. Don't even think of all the other ones. I know many of you are tempted, but sir, I want to solve the most difficult question and so on. Don't bother with that. Focus on the 2 easiest questions, solve those. Once you've solved those, then go to the 3rd question, whichever you guys prefer, right? So that's generally the strategy. If you look at it this way, you have 3 questions, meaning that you have 2 hours to solve each of these 3 questions, right? So you have like 2 hours to solve each of these 3 questions. Then it will help you out over there. So they're just easier when you think of it that way. Typically, of the 2 easiest questions, the first question will be done in 30 minutes. So then you have like 5.5 hours to solve the other 2 questions. Trust me, guys, you don't need to worry about finishing all 6 questions. Try to do 3 questions. You're solid. You're done. Otherwise, at least 2 questions will help you get the interview around. Okay. So yeah, difficulty is not so much, but it's very tedious. It's a very lengthy codes. That's why I'm suggesting, this kind of a strategy. Somebody saying even just 1 question is enough. No, 1 question last year was enough. I don't know about this year. That depends on competition. But last year, even doing 1 question was actually enough. Right? Okay. And yeah, if you guys are watching on YouTube, just to let you all know that if you want to practice this and all of the entire CodeVita preparation, you can just join us on this CodeVita preparation pack. The link is in the description below. We have like more than 100 questions on this. We have 6 live classes, today's included. So all the other classes are going to actually be on the Edyst platform, and you get like a lot of mentor support as well throughout. So just reach out to us on the link below if you want to join the CodeVita preparation pack, and you guys could go ahead and basically sign up if you guys really want to prepare for CodeVita over here. But yeah, all the other students, you're already part of the CodeVita preparation pack, so you guys don't need to do that. So yeah, that's the CodeVita syllabus. That's what we talked about. We talked about the important concepts. We're going to pick up 2 practice questions today, specifically on loops and array, right? We're going to pick up on loops and arrays to help you solve some questions. So now, to help you like improve your preparation, Now, before I do that, some miscellaneous questions are coming in. So miscellaneous doubts, right? So let me just take up some doubts. So somebody's continuously asking me cognizant exam difficulty. Boss, when is your cognizant exam? Can I just ask you this? When is your cognizant exam? Since you're asking me when the difficulty level, it's on 20th, is it? Is it day after? No, it's on Sunday. Okay. So again, cognizant has different things, like there's Gen C next, and so on. Typically speaking, Gen C is quite easy. Gen C next is more difficult, but nothing too difficult if you've done data structures algorithms. They're all much easier. They're going to be like InfyTQ level. The digital one will be like anywhere between, they'll be a little bit more difficult than InfyTQ. Not advantage round. I'm not talking about advantage round. I'm just talking about like the base InfyTQ. So yeah, Gen C, if I'm talking about in two roles, the easiest one, that's the lowest one, is quite easy actually. It's not super difficult. Means it's all of your basic questions only. And if you're going for the advanced one, then they ask you a little bit of DSA, but again, that's not too difficult. It's much easier than Hack with Infy. It's quite easier as compared to TCS Digital also. Okay. What else? What about okay? What are the other questions that you guys are asking? So, is there partial marking in CodeVita? So, CodeVita partial marking is there? Yes, there is. CodeVita has partial marking, so you can, you'll not be told. I don't think in the interface they'll tell you that CodeVita has partial marking, but yes, they actually do partially reward you. All right. I see a lot of people on YouTube. Do hit the like button, please, if you guys are liking this. Right. So just let us know, and do say hi on the chat if you guys are liking this and you're able to hear us, see us. Do say hi on the chat if you're on YouTube. Okay. I want tricks for time complexity, please. There is no shortcut for time complexity. There is no real shortcut for time complexity and all. You basically need to know. You have to look at the question and figure out what's the best algorithm that's going to apply there. So there is no shortcut. You have to look at the algorithm and figure out, right? So that's the thing. So we're saying, sir, is these company exams or placement exams? Yes. So these companies do hire from these companies. These companies do hire from these exams. So based on their performance in this exam, they'll hire. How much does TCS offer after cracking 2 or more questions in CodeVita? So TCS has 2-3 different roles. So they have the TCS Ninja role, they have the TCS Digital role. This year they have not yet come out with the exact compensation. Last year TCS Ninja was somewhere between 3.6 to 4.2 LPA, and TCS Ninja was anywhere between, I guess, 6 to 8 LPA. But you'd have to just wait for their official thing, because I think it would have increased this year because Infosys also increased it. So you guys can expect that TCS would have also increased it. But yeah, they are yet to tell exactly what the compensation is. All right, somebody saying, can we perform brute force in CodeVita? Yes, you can. And the first question will actually probably get solved by brute force. You don't have to worry about that. Somebody saying, can you take a class on optimization of time complexity? See, it's not just about optimization of time complexity, right? So it's like saying that, can you take a class on solving differential equations? It takes time, right? Differential equations. Or can you take a class on how to integrate anything? Integration itself takes a full 1 year to learn, right? So that's what this optimization of time complexity is. It's about knowing all of the algorithms, all of the data structures that will help you reduce your time complexity. So each of those techniques takes about 2 hours to teach, and we have like 20 hours, 20 such classes in our bootcamp. So that's how much time it takes to learn that. You can't just learn it in one class. So just follow along all our classes. In each class, I'm going to explain some of those techniques. So hopefully you can pick them up. Okay. Can you please tell me about the number of rounds in Cognizant? If you have no, I don't right now. And let's not talk about Cognizant right away, please. Let's talk about CodeVita at this point, right? Can we reattempt Cognizant? Guys, let's not talk about Cognizant. Do email me at team@edyst.com or reach out to your placement officer. That's the best person to ask. They can help you with all of those questions on code on Cognizant, right? Is one coding question enough to qualify the round? So again, I'm telling you guys, like last year, 1+ questions, just one was okay. This generally before that it was 2 or more. So if you got 2 or more, then you could still get it. But one question is last year was possible. This year, not sure what the approach will be. Generally speaking, 2+ is a good number. Okay. Sir, we got in mail to solve at least one. Brilliant. Okay, let's hope they do that. See, again, my point is, let's say all of you solve at least one. Then and they have only like limited slots for interview, so they will differentiate, right, on something. So generally speaking, 2+ is good, but for last year they did 1+, maybe they do this year also 1+, right? So that's one of those things. Okay, some people on the chat. Hey guys, hi YouTube folks, hi, good to see you all. Somebody is asking, hello sir, I want to know that I'm able to give CodeVita exam even if I have not attended mock CodeVita. Yeah, that's fine. You don't need to attend mock Vita to actually go for CodeVita. All right. So please tell something about plagiarism. Plagiarism we'll cover in a later class. Don't worry about that. We'll actually cover about plagiarism. I know a lot of you have doubts on plagiarism, so we'll cover that. We'll cover that part. Simply speaking, don't copy. First of all, don't copy from your friends. If you're copying from the internet something, there is a way of giving attribution, and I'll show you that one, how that can be done. Okay. Again, there's also nothing special I'll show you. It's just written in their instructions, so you can just do that. Okay. All right, awesome. So shall we get started with our practice questions, everybody? There are like 2 practice questions that I have picked out. So shall we get started with 2 practice questions? Okay. So in the practice questions today, picked out one question called as Constellation. It covers both your loops, patterns, and everything. So we'll cover this today, and if there's time, we'll cover one more. Otherwise, this is the one which we'll cover today. Hopefully, it gives us a good warm up to our, basically CodeVita prep, right? So CodeVita, I think it was asked in CodeVita 2021. It's 2020. There was no CodeVita 2020. Sorry, CodeVita 2020. Yeah, there was no CodeVita 2021. There was no CodeVita 2021. So basically speaking, it's in the last season. So it's CodeVita season 9. This question was asked, Constellation. So let's go for it. Okay. So I'm just opening this. By the way, this is free to attend for anybody. Anybody out there can go and attempt this question. So yeah, don't worry about joining the course and all for this. Anybody out there is eligible. So let me just pick up the question over here. So the question is here. 1 second. And also just making sure that you're all able to see everything. Yeah. So the question is like in the math section, the last one. Yeah, Constellation. Again, somebody asking about cognizant, because we have that on the 20th. Okay, I wasn't told that you have cognizant. So if you're told, then we'll definitely do something. Cool. Yeah, we can discuss a little bit about that also later on. Probably not in this one, but I think in tomorrow's class or something. Yeah. Okay, sir, I'm not able to see this module. Don't worry. If you're not, then you will be able to see this. Yeah, don't worry. If you're not, then you'll get this pretty soon. Yeah. Just reach out to team@edyst.com if you can't see this module. Okay, awesome. So let's look at this Constellation part. So it says there are 3 characters, right? So hash, star, and dot. Represents a constellation of stars and galaxies in space. Each galaxy is demarcated by hash characters, right? There can be one or many stars in a given galaxy. Stars can only be in shape of vowels, A, E, I, O, U. A collection of star in the shape of vowel is a star. Okay, so a collection of star. A star is contained in a 3x3 block. So every star will be contained in a 3x3 block. Stars cannot be overlapping. The dot character denotes empty space. Given a 3x n matrix, so they're always saying there will be 3 rows. Given a 3x n matrix comprising of this, this, and this, find the galaxy and stars within them. Note, please pay attention to the vowel A is denoted, okay, something they've said, and they've given us constraints. So we'll come back to these constraints. It's not immediately applicable to us. So yeah, let's look at this example input 1, where what they've given us is a bunch of like asterisks. They've said that, every 3 blocks is a star. They're going to asterisk, then they've given us like hash, then again some asterisks, hash, asterisk, hash, and so on. So what I can see is that this sort of a constellation, or this collection of characters here finally translates to UOIEA. How is this translating to UOIEA? I'll just show this to you on the PPT as well. 1 second. So just to show it to you here. Okay, I seem to be stuck. 1 second. Let me just figure out what happened here. Okay, hold on. I think there is some issue. Give me 1 second, guys. I think my voice is still audible. Yeah, I think I'm back now. So hopefully this does not error out now. Anyways, so what I was saying was that let's actually put in the constellation over here. So this is what the constellation looks like. Let's actually put it in over here. And let's get this. All right, so this is what the constellation looks like. And what they're trying to say is that if you actually look at first of all, there will only be vowels that you have to decipher from this. And if you look at it properly, right, all of these form a U, right? If you just look at this over here, all of these are forming a U over here. Right? So I'm just coloring them also so that you guys can see. Right, so this forms a U. This forms an O. So if I just take this up here, right? So this somewhat forms an O. Bad color choice, but I think you all understand what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if I go like let's say something like this. So this forms an O over here, right? So what they're saying is every vowel is going to form one of these three, like it's going to be in a 3 block over here, right? So again, this forms an I at this point. If you see it correctly, this is an I, and I. And then what they're saying is, in this case, it's an O. So this entire thing becomes like an O over here. So if I just look at it like this is an O, right? So this entire thing becomes an O. And then this is like an A over here. So, this thing here is like an A. Right? Oh, this is not an O, this is an E. Sorry, this was an O, this is an E, and this is an A. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So what I finally get is I get something like U, then there's a hash, then I get O, then again there's a hash, then I get I, again there's a hash, there's an E, and there's no hash now, then it's an A after that. So there's no hash after that, then it's an A after this part. Okay. So this is like what a first question of CodeVita would look like. Like question number 1 in CodeVita is is what it could basically look like over here. Okay. Is the question clear, everybody? So what they're going to give is they'll always give you 3 rows. They will give you these different constellations, or rather, they will give you a combination of these asterisks and dots that will either form an A, E, I, O, or U, because those are the only vowels that you have, right? So and it's told you that it's only going to form through vowels, right? Where is it exactly told you? So I just want to show it to you here. So there you go. Hold on. I don't know why it's. Yeah. So it's shown you over here that it's A, E, I, O, or U, right? It's shown you over here. A, E, I, O, U. It could be that. Now, yeah. So one of those 3, one of those 5, it could be, or it could be a hash, or it could be just a dot 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 space, which is the case over here, I believe. So no, there's no space here. Yeah, there is a space here, right? In the case of this one, you get U. So I'll just show this one also to you guys over here. Taking up another one. So this case, this is the input. Here what you get is, this is U hash space I, A. But in the case of space, you should not print a space. You should not print a space. You should just print I over here, right? So in the case of space, you should not print anything. You should just print I. All right. Somebody saying my screen is a blur. Can you all see me? Can you all see me right now? I think it's all visible as per my thing, but you guys have to tell me. Yeah, I think people can see. All right, cool. You're also feeling that? Okay. Somewhat blur. All right, it'll get okay in just a bit, right? So let's just continue. Right. So it becomes U, I, and then A. U hash I hash A, because this space is just taken up as a space over here. All right. So are you all understanding the question? It's always going to be 3 rows. Those 3 rows will depict either a space, in which case you don't print the space, you just let it be as it is, a hash, or it could print something like an asterisk, right? And so that asterisk will basically, tell you whether it's an A, E, I, O, or U. Okay, are you guys understanding this part? What's happening here? Are you guys getting this? So if all the 3x3 matrix has asterisks, then it is E. Yeah, it is E. Correct. Then it's like E, 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 E. That's what it comes, right? So what about the second row? What about the second row? So if I look at this over here, again, this is U. Then this one is this is a hash. This is a space. They're saying that whenever you get like a dot, so it's a space. So you just ignore it. Then this one is an I. And this one is this is again a hash, and then there's an A. All right. Is that like clear, everybody? What's going on over here? Anybody has any doubts? We'll come to the approach in just a bit, but otherwise, any particular doubts or questions over here? If it's clear, please do say clear so that I know that you've got it. Okay, somebody saying second row. I didn't understand your question about second row. What do you mean by the second row over here? So once repeat, sure. See, basically what they're going to do is they're going to give you some 3 rows. Okay, this 12 tells you the number of columns, but they're always going to give you 3 rows. So let's say something like this, right? So they could give you something, and I'm just putting dash because it won't be a dash. It will be either in each of these, in place of each of this dash, it's going to be either asterisk or hash or a dot. One of these. By an asterisk, they will try to make an alphabet out of it. Which alphabet? A vowel out of it. So for example, if they want to make an A, the way they make an A is they will put this as an asterisk, this as an asterisk, this as an asterisk, this as an asterisk, and this as an asterisk. Right. So this will be what we call an A, as you can see over here. A will also, in the second row, it will also have some here. It will also have this one as an asterisk. Okay. So this is what you'll have as an A. And this one will be a dot, by the way. And there will be a space also. So they're going to always give a space. Anyway, so we'll look at their internal thing. Okay. So this is the case. This is, let's say, an A. So far I got an A. And then let's say they want to put a U. So if they want to put a U, they will put an asterisk here, asterisk here, asterisk here, asterisk here, asterisk here, asterisk here. So this will be a U. So this becomes AU. No hash in the middle. If they want to put a hash in the middle, they will put a hash, something like this. So it becomes A hash U. So somebody is saying, so can you say what hash does that? All that hash will do is it will just insert a hash over there, nothing else. That hashtag will just insert a hashtag at that point. That's all. So in fifth column, we have dots. Don't we maintain space in output? No, we don't maintain space in the output. As per the question, we are not maintaining any space in the output. Will hash come for every 3 columns? No, it's not a given that hash comes for every 3 columns. It may come, it may not come. So it's not a given. For example, if you look at this input, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 columns over here. This is the first 3 columns. This is the first 3 columns. Then you have a hash. Then you have a space. And then you have the next 3 columns. And then you again have a hash. And then you have 3 columns also. So this space we don't have to print. And it's not given that hash will always come. It's not a given thing. Okay. All right. So now everybody's understood the question. Can you all tell me the logic of this question? What do you think is the best way to solve it? Okay. Let's think of the approach over here. Tell me what's a possible way of solving this question. Let's count the number of stars required for each alphabet. Okay. Counting number of dots and storing the index. Okay, think a little bit more. You are correct there, but give me a more detailed answer. We can wait for 2 minutes, but you have to give me a more detailed answer. Column wise sum of frequency of character, we can estimate that pattern. Interesting. Okay, sir, we have to check stars at 0, 0, 1, 0 and 2, 0 indexes. Interesting. Okay. By using if else. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's one approach. All right. Tell me, guys on YouTube also, please do tell me what do you think is the right approach. Right. So do tell me in the chat. I can verify whether your approach is correct or not. Okay, so as you can see, this is mainly an implementation question by them. Take your time. Tell me what you guys are thinking about. Take your time. Do write. I know a lot of people are writing. Do write. But it's more an implementation question, right? We define blocks for each alphabet and run a loop to check whether it matches which block, each column. And now we define as first row, first column as star. All right. We define blocks for each alphabet and run a loop to check whether it matches which block. Interesting. Each column and row we define as, okay, that's interesting. But the thing is, if we keep checking for each block, then we might be in trouble. So you're basically saying that I'll take an A and I'll keep matching where all A comes. Is that what you're saying? You have to check only 2 rows for every 3 columns. We have to occurrence of dots beside star. We have to check only 2 rows for every 3 columns. We have to occurrence of dots to check occurrence of dots beside stars. Okay. Interesting. So first things first, guys, is we have to take input to the entire thing. Take input entire grid. You have to take input that. There is no way you can't do without it. I'll tell you why. When you take in, how will you take input? You always take input row by row, right? You're not going to like take this. That's not possible to do, right? You always have to take the first line and then the second line and then the third line and so on. So first line, then the second line and then the third line. You have to take it like this. There's no way you can take a column at one point, right? I wish we could take, but there's no way to do that. So since there's no way of doing that, what we will have to do is take row by row everything. So first things first is to just take the input, right? So take input the entire grid. Anything we'll do is after that. So what do I do after I've taken input the entire grid? Can anybody give me, just take your time, but give me like some sort of approach. Again, if I tell you the approach, you'll come to know, but I want you to take some sort of approach at least over here. Look at the input again and see, we can traverse columns and if always find hash, then print hash. Very good. Very, very good. So somebody's given a really good thing that, see, we'll come to U, I, A, all of that, we'll come to that. But first, if column starts with hash, just print hash, right? I don't have to do anything else because I know that only one thing can start with hash, which is a column of hash only. So if the column starts with a hash, I can just print a hash. Is there any other easy win like this? Any other easy thing that I can start, that I can just take up? If the column starts with hash, then I can do that. If we find dot, then just ignore it. Okay, interesting. Let's think about it. Somebody's saying if we find column starts with a dot, then ignore it. Can we really ignore it? What somebody's saying is, if it starts with dot, then it's a space. But can we really ignore it? Is there something? Yes, very, very good. For A, you cannot ignore it. This one starts with a dot, so I can't ignore it. Right? Yeah, so I can't. But what I can do is, if the column is, if we find that the column is 3 dots, then ignore it. Right? So yeah, I can't just ignore it based on 1 dot, but if all 3 are dots, then I can ignore it. Correct, everyone? If all 3 is a dot, then it's a space and I can ignore it. Yeah. Okay. So we've now figured out how to print the hash and just ignore it. So now only thing we are left with is the vowel, which is the main part of the question. But we've done away with all the, all the side parts, right? So somebody's saying even if we find 2 dots, we can ignore. That's fine because there will anyways be 3 rows only. So I don't even have to write like a big loop for it. There will anyways be 3 loops. 3 rows only. So I don't have to worry about that, right? Like row number 0, row number 1, row number 2. That's it. So that's okay. I don't have an issue checking with 3 numbers. Okay. So finally comes, how do I check? So if it's neither a hash nor a space, then what does that mean? It means that it is an alphabet, right? So I have an alphabet. So now how do I actually check which alphabet it is? How do I figure out what alphabet it actually is? So one thing I know about alphabets. Can you all tell me one thing about alphabets? Each alphabet has one thing in common. ASCII value, I mean, how would ASCII value really help you? Yes, very, very good. Somebody give me the right answer. Each alphabet is a 3x3 grid. Each alphabet is a 3x3 grid, right? So what I'm going to do is, if I extract that 3x3 grid, let's say I copy the 3x3 grid and check which alphabet it is. So what I'll do is extract the next 3x3 elements, right? So if it's an alphabet, or rather I'll just put an else over here, right? So here it will be like else. So first, if the column starts with hash, print hash. Else, if we find 3 dots, then ignore it. Else, extract the next 3x3 elements, right? What do I do with those 3x3 elements? What can I do with those 3x3 elements? Simply check which vowel it is. And those vowels will be what? They will be U, A, E, I, O, A, E, I, O, U, right? So it's going to be like one of those vowels only. So I have to write 5 if-else cases for that. How do I check this? I'll write a separate function. Separate function. So it'll just be easier for me to debug also, right? I'll write a separate function for this. So just becomes like, quite easy for me to debug over here. That's all. Okay. Are you all understanding this logic? Are you guys getting this logic over here? Did you all understand? At least logically. Then I'll go and implement this, but at least logic wise, are you all understanding this? Sir, we can do it with order n square. This, in fact, this entire thing is order n. It's not even n square or whatever. It's n only. In fact, it's n into 3. It's 3n because there are 3 rows over here. That's all, right? So you're processing each thing once. 4-point explain again. Simply in the 4th point, what I'm doing is I'm saying that I'm checking. Is it a dot? First thing I've checked is it a hash? If it's a hash, print hash, go forward. Otherwise, in the first one, check if it's a dot. If it's a dot, ignore. If it's neither a hash nor a dot, then what do? I extract the next 3x3 grid. This is what I'm doing. I extract. So let's say I am at column. Let's put a name also to all the columns, right? So this is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, right? So those are the columns over there. So if I'm at column 4, I will ignore this column 4 and I will go to column 5. Now I check that 5 is neither a hash nor it is consecutive dots, means that I have to take 5, 6, 7, these 3 columns, this 3x3 column, I have to take, send it to my function. It will take this, basically this pattern and tell me what it is. Is it an A, E, I, O, or U? And once I'm done with that, I will do 5 plus 3, 8, and I will check 8 column and I'll check what's happening there. Okay. Did you understand what point 4 is doing over here? Point 4, what point 4 is doing? Extract the next 3x3, send it to my, the next whatever function and let it print it. Okay. So it's again, everybody, it's a simple question. It's the first question that you could expect in CodeVita, first question level. You'll see it's implementation heavy, but it's quite easy to do, right? So let's go ahead and implement it. Let's implement it. So it's a good warm up for us for, just starting the CodeVita preparation. I'll implement it. I'll go for Python, just be faster for all of us. But I think we have solutions in Java as well. You guys can go ahead and check it out. The solution's already there on the system, so you don't have to worry about it. So just opening this here. All right. So first things first is taking input. And what it's going to tell me about the taking input part is, it's going to denote the number of columns, basically. That's all it's going to say, the number of columns. Now, for us in Python or any language, the number of columns won't really matter. Okay, it's blur. One second. Don't worry, guys. Let me just figure out why that's happening. HD 1080p, yeah. Yeah, that's what. Okay, awesome. All right. Good to know. Good to know, everybody, right? Okay, yeah. So as per request, I'll just write the code in Java, everybody. Don't worry about that. There's a Python solution, there's a Java solution already there. So that don't really take too much of that. Let me just start writing this code. So public static void main string args. This boilerplate stuff I should really have written before, but okay, not public static here. And yeah, if you want see, I can only choose one language when I'm doing it. So what I'll say is, you understand the logic, you will definitely be able to understand the code. Just go ahead and check the Python solution already there on the platform. Check it out. You will be able to understand it. Okay. So I have here public static void main string args. All right. We'll also very quickly do this. Import java.util.scanner, right? Or just star would also be fine. And very quickly, scan is equal to scanner system.in. Okay, so what it's saying is int n is equal to scan.nextInt, right? So this is the number of columns that are going to be there. How many rows will be there? So if I just look at the grid over here, so int grid, if I just actually make the grid, how many rows will be there? Always there are going to be three rows, and n are the number of columns that are going to be there, right? That's as per the question, right? So let's take in the input, and it's not even int, by the way. I mean, we can keep an int also over here, but it's not going to be an int. We will actually have to take a string grid over here, right? Now the other thing is, will there be a space between these? Like, yeah, there is a space, it looks like. So this other thing with CodeVita, you have to like be very careful about what's the input going to look like. So if I look at it over here, there is a space. There is always a space between them, right? So I take an input, take a space, take an input, take a space. I'll have to basically kind of keep doing that, right? So is equal to new string 3, comma. So now if I'm going to take the input over here, I'll say something like int I is equal to 0. I'll use a while loop here. Well, I less than equal to n. Why am I using a while loop here? Because every input I take is not necessarily an input that I need. What do I mean by that? Because there is going to be a space. I want to neglect that space every time. Every time I take it, I want to actually neglect that space, right? So what I'm going to do is, while I less than equal to n, I will basically start taking all of these elements, right? So what do the elements look like over here? They are, if I pick up string, what would it be like? There will be, and I have to do this 3 times, by the way, right? So I have to do this 3 times. So I'll do that over here for int row equal to 0, row less than 3, row plus plus. So I'm going to do this 3 times. This is going through rows. Now for each row, I'm going to take up the columns over here. Right? Everybody getting so far? This is just the input taking part, but I'm going to actually take up like the columns now. So what I'll do is, I'll say something like grid row of I is equal to scan.next, right? And so that's going to give me the next star or asterisk or star or hash or whatever it is, right? So it's actually going to get me that particular thing. Once I've got that, then what I'm going to do, I'll again do scan.next, right? I'm again going to do scan.next. Why am I going to do scan.next again? Because I want to take that space away. I keep doing this till so I do like I plus plus. So that means that I have got another column over here basically. And for each row, I'll initialize I again to 0, right? So, sir, can we just, can we use I plus equal to 2? You can do that also. That's also fine. Yeah. Now the only thing is, in the end, I might not have a space. At the end, I might not have a space. So I'll do something like, if I not equal or rather less than n, then do this. And it should be, by the way, yeah, this should also go to less than n. And yeah, if I is less than n, then take up the next space. This is all I'm going to do. Is next good or next line? Next line is not good here. because the issue with next line is it's going to take the entire line. You could do a better way. You could do like next line dot strip. That would be a good way also, right? So I'll actually show you guys that also, right? Let me just show you that also over here. Okay, so this will actually take in the input hopefully, and let me just print it out just to see if we are printing it correctly or not. For int, this thing I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. For int j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus, right? So we're going to take this and let's just print system.out.print. What do we print? Grade I comma j. Yeah, let's print that. And once I'm done with this loop, I'll just print a new line. This is just to print the output, just to see if you've got the input correctly or not, right? So already defined here, right? Okay, I believe I should write it here. Then I think makes sense. Okay, no such element. It's still stuck on this no such element thing. Where exactly is that? Becomes I plus plus. So this would be, by the way, I less than n minus 1. Because the moment if I is equal to n minus 1 also, yeah, that also is the issue. Okay, it's still causing us an issue at line number 12. Here itself, all right, here itself. Oh, we didn't do I plus plus after that. Yeah, I have to do I plus plus again. I've not done I plus plus, correct. Yeah. Okay, so null, we're getting a bunch of nulls over here. Why would that be the case? Oh no, you will not do I plus plus. My bad. No, you're not going to do I plus plus. You did scan.next. Explain line 14. Yeah, I'll explain that. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'll explain it. I'm not going to explain it. Why are we writing? Why are we again writing if I less than n inside the loop? We are writing it because I want to take scan.next again after that. Right? See, if I don't write this, so let me just see again this issue. Yeah, it's causing us an issue at line 12. So again, this one is basically going out of bounds. Why is that happening? It's always going out of bound. Interesting. Take this. The scan.next avoid the spaces. It does not avoid the spaces, right? Yeah, I will use the split. I'll show you the split part also, but it does not avoid. So wait, why are we getting messed up in the input taking part itself? Okay, can happen to anybody. So I'll just try to show you all. Oh yeah, I got it. No, I did not get it. So grade row comma I. Let's just see till, and let's also print row plus space plus I plus space. Yeah, so let's do this so that we come to know at least till where we are able to print, right? So we are able to print 0 0 0 all the way up until 0 17, and this is 18, right? So it's going to 0 17, that's fine, till 1 9 it's going, and then suddenly after 1 9 it's facing an issue. So it's going up till like 1 8 1 9, right? But we're going till 1 9, but for some reason it's not 1 2 3 4 5 6. It is counting spaces also. I got it without, yeah, okay, good for you if you got it. Thank you for sharing that. Just give me 1 second, let me figure it out. Zero grid row I scan.next system.out.println. So it's taking this. I scanned it, it becomes I plus plus, it goes to the next one. If I is less than n minus 1, which it is, I'm just scanning again because it's a space. Because it's a space. That's why I'm scan. Or yeah, I think we can just skip the space. I think that's the easiest thing, right? Yeah, I think that's the easiest thing to do. Current, yeah, I'm again string current is equal to scan dot next. If current equal to, if current dot equals, if it's a space, if it's a space, then just ignore. So if current does not equal to a space, then only do grid. Yeah, this is the easier one to do. Unnecessarily we were complicating. So grid row comma I is equal to current I plus plus. So now I got, one column basically, right? So this keeps going on till it becomes actually I is still less than n. The moment we got one more, then yeah, I think this would work out. So if we just run this, yeah, so now we got the input correctly, right? Okay, so as simple as that, right? So again, just it's all about input taking, guys. I have made a mistake. Simple as that. Take the input. If the input is a dot or if it's a hash, go ahead, fine. If it's a space, just ignore it and don't even count it as a column, right? So don't even actually count it as a column. All right, everybody understood this input taking part. If you take input a particular element, if that element is a space, you go forward. You don't even worry about it. If it's not a space, then it's a particular column. So I include it. Everybody got this part? Understood this part over here? Yes, no, please do let me know this part. If you've understood it or not. Okay. No response. I'm not getting any response. Did you guys understand it? This particular part? Explain once again. Okay. Simple as this. Okay. Explain. Sure. See, it's like this. The input that's going to come is something like dot space, like star space, hash space dot space hash, something like this, right? So I take input the asterisk because it's a particular column. Do I take input the space? No. So basically I take it input, I say it's a space, discard it. Don't even put it in my grid. Then a dot comes, okay, you can put this in the grid, right? Then a space comes. It's like, no, don't put this in my grid. So that's what I'm doing. If it equals a space, ignore it. Don't do anything. If it's not equal to a space, then only you come here, assign it to my grid, and then go to the next column. All right. So hope you've understood that. All right. So this is just the input taking part. So now I've taken the input over here. Okay. Now, once I've taken the input, I have to actually go through all of the rows. Right. So I'll again do that for int, row is equal to. So how will I go? I will go not row by row. Now I'm going to go column by column. So I'm going to say int column is equal to 0, column less than n, column plus plus, right? So I'm going to go through all of the columns. What do I do after going through each column? So the first two things that I'm going to check is, number one, is it a hash or not? Right? So I have to first check, is it a hash or not? How do I check if it's a hash? So if grid 0 of column equal to grid is equal to, let's say, or as a not like that, dot equals a hash. If even the starting part is a hash, then the entire thing is a hash, right? So what I'll do is I'll just say, yeah, system.out.println hash, and then go forward, right? Not in println, it should be print this hash, and then just go forward. Okay. Else if, what else could it be? It could be that all of those are dots. So I'll say that grid 0 column is equal to a dot, and grid 0 column equal to grid 1 column, and what else? And grid 1 column, can't see my screen. Yeah, grid 1 column is equal to grid 2 column, right? If all of this is there, so grid 0 column equal to grid 1 column, and grid 1 column is equal to grid 2 column, and it's a dot. What is the case in this? In this case, I don't print anything, right? I just go go on. So I don't even care about this. I actually just go forward, right? So I can just say continue. Like, okay, it's just a dot, it's a space, so I don't have to do anything. Just continue. You can also just do system.out.print space. That's like, just this also is fine. I don't want to print anything, blank string. Just print a blank string. I'll put a continue. It just sounds better. Okay. Else, if it's neither of these, then what do I need to do? I need to take in the next three elements, the next 3x3 grid. I need to write a function to check what element it is, right? So I will actually say, take the current grid. So what would the current grid be? You can actually write the entire, you can write the hardcode thing. So I'll just write it like this, like say string current underscore grid equal to new string 3x3, right? So it's a 3x3 grid. What's the current grid going to be? It's going to start at my current column and it's going to go on till the next three columns, right? So I'll just copy it over here for int current column is equal to 0, or it's going to be actually like this: current row is equal to 0, current row less than 3, current row plus plus. Then for int current column is equal to 0, not 0. No, current column is not 0 here. Current column is actually equal to column. We're starting at that current column. Or you can actually start at 0 also. It's fine. I'll show you what that means. Current column less than 3, current column plus plus. So what is that? I'm trying to extract this grid. So I say that current grid of current row, current column is equal to, what is equal to? It's same thing of the grid, the grid's current row, because the rows are going to be 0, 1, 2 only. But which column? It's going to be current column plus column. It's going to be current column plus column. So the 0th column of the first of my new grid will be the column of the original grid. The next column, the 1th column here, will be 1 plus whatever column I'm on over there. Okay, are you all getting this part? So for example, if I want to extract this 5, 6, 7, this is the 0th column of my new grid. 0th column and 0th column of my new grid here. But of which column are we talking about of the main grid? It's the 5th column. So 0 plus 5 column. When I come to the 1th column of my new grid, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the 1 plus 5, 6th column of my original grid. Did you guys understand this part over here? What I did over here at this point to extract the grid. So here I've basically extracted the grid, over here, and I want to know string alphabet is equal to find, let's say, alpha of the current grid. And I'll write, this is a new function that I'm going to write. Find the alphabet of my current grid. New function that I'm going to write. And after I've done this, move forward by 3. I'll say column is equal to column plus 3. Let's move forward by 3 over here. Right. So now I'm in the new column. Because I'm done with this, I can actually just move to the new column over here. Can I do column is equal to column plus 3 or column plus 2, I guess, right? Because I want to be at the 7. Yes, I want to be at the 7 column, and then the column plus plus will take care and make it at the 8th column. Right? So yeah, column is equal to column plus 2. Okay, fair enough. Now I just have to write this function find the alphabet for this current grid. This will return that for this grid, is it U, A, E, I, O, U? It's going to return that. Is everybody getting this? Do you want me to explain some part, any particular line you want me to explain? Anything you guys want me to explain here? Please let me know. Okay, line 25, sure. Line 25 is just, I think you meant something else. Probably line 35. Is that what you meant? Can you please explain last 2 lines? These last 2 lines? Okay. This I'm writing a function that given a 3x3, given a 3 cross 3 grid, this will return which alphabet is there, right? Given a 3 cross 3 grid, it's going to return which alphabet is there at that point, right? Understood this? And in the column plus 2, basically it's saying, see, I'm at column 5. If I look at the column pointer, I'm at column 5. I have extracted the next 3 alphabet, the next 3 grid, right? So I have extracted like 5 to 7 over here, this here, this here. I've extracted it. So when I'm done with this 5, whatever it tells me it's an I. Should I go and then again check 6? No, I should not check 6, right? I should start checking from 8 itself. And that's what I do. I start checking from 8. Okay. So what I do is I do 5 plus 2, 7. That means it's trying to say that, hey, you're done with the 7th column also over here. So it will go and check, is 7 less than n? Yes, it is. Make column plus plus, make it 8. So I'm letting the for loop also do its thing. So, I'm just saying, okay, go to the 8th column now. All right. Did you get that? Okay. Because we extracted 3 cross 3 grid over here. Okay. So now I just have to write this function here, string current grid. Basically what it does is it's going to find out for this given grid, is it a, E, I, O or U, right? It's trying to find that out. Okay. How can we actually figure that out? Whether it's an A, E, I, O or U. There are 2-3 ways of doing this. I would say the simplest way is something like this, right? So you actually create, I believe, let's say string is equal to what would A look like? A would look like this, right? So let's quickly get A over here. So A would look something like asterisk, asterisk. Correct, everybody? This is what A is. And I'm creating a 2D matrix with strings. This is why you should pay attention in all your classes. How do you initialize a 2D matrix? This is how, is my syntax correct, by the way, Java folks? Is this how you initialize a 2D matrix? Is my initialization of 2D matrix correct? Okay, one way to find out, you can actually just print this out. I equal to 0. I'll just print it out and see if it's really correct. I less than 3, I plus plus. And for int j equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus, system dot out dot print a of I, comma j. Right, and let me just print this a out to indeed see. Let's say, because I have to return something, right? So I'm just trying to figure out whether this prints it correctly or not, right? So okay, something's gone wrong in terms of string A. Yeah, I forgot to put a correct. Thank you. Semicolon. Yep. Cannot be applied. Okay, it should be static void. I forgot to put a void over there. Yeah. It's a public static. Okay, no, sorry. It's not. It's correct only. Static void find alpha. That's fine. One sec. What happened here? What's the issue? That's correct only. But what is it? I see. Okay. We didn't pass anything, right? Okay, let's pass in grid. Yeah. Java doesn't let you check also really quickly. So, Okay, fair enough. I'll just do this. All right, so it's printing A every time, right? So our A was initialized correctly. So it's actually printing A. Okay, so that's fine. So our A is initialized correctly. This is all just to check whether A is initialized correctly. If you are all more confident, then you don't even need to check that. So this is A, by the way. So this is A. Let's go for string, then E, right? So E is equal to something. Let's just copy this. So we could have an E, or we could have string I is equal to, right? So we'll have this, which is an I. So what is E like? E is all asterisks, right? E is all asterisks. So asterisks and asterisks. Okay. Then comes I. So what does I look like? I is something like this, dot and dot here. Okay. Then comes O. What would O look like? O is like this. If you're doing like this, won't you have a problem with time complexity? No, you will not have, because see, I'll tell you, you're all confusing length of code with time complexity of code. I'll tell you, this is an order n thing. So don't confuse the both of them. They're two different things. EU over here, right? Okay. So is A, E, I, O, U? Come on, you guys are the ones who are checking for me. Is A, E, I, O, U, all of them are written correctly over here? A is like this, E is like this, I is like this, O is like this, U is like this, right? Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if these two things are equal. I'm going to check if my current grid is equal to A. If it's not equal to A, then I'll check if it's equal to E. Otherwise, I'll check if it's equal to I, O, and then U. So how do I do that? Let me write another function for that, right? So if, this thing are equal A and current grid, if it is equal, then what you return A over there, right? Else if are equal, and you don't need to do else if because it's a return, right? So I can just do if are equal E and the current grid, return E. So I'm going to compare my 3x3 grid with all of these 3x3 grids that I've made. So I said, okay, so that's not the case. If are equal O with current underscore grid, then I return O. And same thing. So actually it should be I first, A, E, I, O, and then U. So they're equal, then I say that. They're not equal, then they're not equal. That's all, right? That's it. So I'm just going to return all of these. And we need to have by default some return as well. So I'll just by default return, let's say blank. We need to have that in Java because otherwise it will complain that there's no return statement. So finally speaking, we'll also just need an is equal. So public static Boolean are equal is what we said, are underscore equal. And we have string grade 1 and grade 2. We're going to be given two grids. We're going to try to figure out are they both equal or not. So this was simple to do for int I equal to 0, I less than grade 1 dot length, I plus plus, for j int j equal to 0, j less than grade 1 of I dot length, j plus plus, if grade 1 of I comma j not equal to grade 2 of I comma j. If both are not equal, then this means I return false here itself, that they're not equal. If after going through the entire thing I was never able to return false, means I could not find something that is equal, I return true, saying that yeah, they are equal. Now I will not do equals like this. Generally you should avoid string equality like this. You should do it like this, dot equals, right? So I should do dot equals over here. That's always the right thing to do. So dot equals over here. And so if they are not equal, so if this thing is not equal, then I'm going to do I'm going to return false. else I can just return true over here. Okay. All right. So huge bunch of code we've written. Let's check over here. Identifier expected. Yes. So we didn't do. So this should be by the string grid1, string grid2. Line 30 also. Okay. Fair enough. So line 30, where exactly? Line 30. Here? No. But somewhere else, I guess, right? Star. Yeah, here. Thank you for that. Dot 983 now. That has become. All right. So, okay, but we didn't write the print statement here, right? So we get the alphabet here, whatever alphabet it is, and then we do system.out.print alphabet, whatever the alphabet we got. Okay, so it passes the test cases, and if I submit it, right? So out of bounds exception, out of bounds exception. Okay, so we're getting a bunch of, somebody asked how to take up out of bounds exception. So yeah, we'll take up out of bounds exception now. So we are getting an out of bounds exception here, here, here. Look at that, 37,000 columns and so on. And it's happening at 89. It is ending up happening at 89 over here. Okay. Interesting. That means there is not enough alphabets to take it. Huh. There are not enough alphabets to take it over here. So we're trying to extract a 3x3 grid, but it's not able to extract more than that. Meaning it's probably junk. Meaning current flow less than 3, current column less than 3. I should basically just check over here. Current column plus column should be less than given in. Yes, that is correct. If current column plus column less than n, then only do this. Right? So cannot find symbol current row. Okay. This should be here. Okay. Now let's check it out. Works here. Okay, still coming out of bounds exception. So something has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong because we are current column plus column is less than n over here. Current row, current column, row plus plus, current column plus plus, string 3 3, current grid is string 3 3. What is going on? Can anybody explain? Can anybody think of it? What could be the possible edge case? This is edge cases. This is your CodeVita edge cases. This is how CodeVita works with edge cases, right? Let's look at it. Yeah, so somewhere it's going out of bounds here. Could it be, by the way, that it's going out of bounds? Sir, why you put at end of if loop? Oh yeah, why did I put that? Good point. I didn't. So it's an if condition, not a loop, but thank you for that. I had put a random semicolon there. That was the issue. Yeah, so it's not matching the expected. So now at least that has gone, but it's not matching the expected output. Got it. Okay. All right. So, okay. 1 second. Never mind that. Okay. Great. Let's think of this. Where could we? Let's read the question. Did we miss any particular thing? Miss anything? Did we miss anything in A, E, I, O, U? That is another thing. A is A correct? Let's look at it here. A is correct. E is all asterisks. I is like this, O is so like this, U is correct. Yep, U is correct. Okay. Current grid return A, E, I, O, U. Otherwise, return this. Will it work if I do something like this? So it's getting caught in that. If they're not, if none of it is equal, then just return. It's getting caught somewhere in that. No, hash is not the answer over there. Probably, I don't know. Return space. Because that's what's happening. It's not equal to any one of those. So it's not returning anything. Okay. It's not space as well. What could it be? So we did column is equal to column plus 2 over here. Then it goes there and then it's doing. If gar is equal to hash, then you print the hash. If it's equal to dot and this is equal and this is equal, continue the space. I don't do anything at that point. Else you actually try to extract the grid. After extracting the grid, you check is it less than n. Okay. One other thing is just a new line just before the thing is finished. Probably that will help. That sometimes helps out. So just a new line, sometimes it just helps out. 1 second. Let me just check. No, that didn't. And yeah, let me remove this also over here. Let's just check this. Okay, still not coming. So we know the issue is we don't have enough columns at the end. We know we don't have enough columns at the end. So what should we be doing if there are no more columns at the end? The question is not clear with it. So one of two things could be the issue. One is we have not really taken in the input correctly. That could be one of the issues. The second issue could be, yes, I got it. I got the issue. Can anybody see? It's right in front of us. Can anybody see the issue? Okay, no, sorry. That's not the issue. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, so that's not the issue. But what I'm trying to say is, we have either made a mistake there, that is, we have not really taken up all the inputs, right? So find alpha function. Okay, we'll go there. Somebody's saying find alpha function. Let's check it out here. This could be the issue. Can't see any issue in the find alpha part because the run is working okay. Is it that in the space you're supposed to print a space? If that's the case, we'll print a space and continue. Print space and then we continue. That could be an issue. No, that's also not the issue. Working for 2, 4 and this, we know that it is an issue of there will be too many numbers. There being not enough thing to get a 3 cross 3. So there's not enough thing to get a 3 cross 3. So line 83 should have equals. There is an equals here. All right, this equals, correct. Yeah, that's also a good point. Yes, yes. This should also be equals. Yeah, they all should be equals, correct. You're right on that front. This also should be equals. Right. This space does not make sense actually. Okay, so now we're passing more test cases. Now we have just one thing. So that half the issue was the equals part. So this is another thing, know your language very well. In Java, this is a big issue. Java, this is a huge issue that you can't compare strings just like by double equal to. Even though I was careful through everything, still I made one mistake and I had not put equals over here. So whenever you're comparing strings, please make sure that you're comparing like this, right? Probably there is another place where we have just done that. I don't know. Maybe that fixes it. I don't know. And we put an extra line here, right? We don't need to actually put a new line. So we can actually take this out. Let's see if that new line which had put to put that, it's not coming. Okay, now we're getting two test cases out. Interesting. But with that new line, earlier we were passing all the test cases at least, except for one of them. Okay, so one of them is getting solved because of the new line. So at least it's a good thing we put a new line also at the end. So yeah, we have one more. Let's think, everybody. What's the last thing that we should be doing? That the reason if it's not coming. There's one more edge case that we can put. String alphabet is equal to this, and I print out that alphabet. Alphabet could be this: A, E, I, O, U. U is fine, O is fine, I is fine, E is fine, A is fine. What about hash? If the first one equals, okay, so one of the cases that could be the case is that we don't have to just check one column, we have to check all the columns, right? So, and let's say grade 1 and let's say we could have done this for this one also, by the way. I don't know why I didn't do it, but yeah, if all of them are equal to this, then only print a hash. And otherwise, don't really print anything, right? So maybe that could be one of the issues. Okay, no, that is not one of the issues. I just thought it might just be this. Grid 2 columns equal to this. Okay. All right. What else? Anybody? Any other thoughts you guys have got so far? Anybody? Any other thoughts on this one? Some edge case only we are all missing. And by the way, this is the exact CodeVita experience, everyone. Exact CodeVita experience. You will keep figuring out what are the possible edge cases there. This is the case here. This is if here. String alphabet is equal to find alphabet current grade. I'm always creating a new one here also. That's not the issue. Oh, another thing is, yes, another thing is n can go up to 10 raised to 5. Will that be covered in the integer 10 raised to 5? Should be, right? 10 raised to 5 should be covered, but just in case, should I make it scan not long? That's another thing. Make it probably long. Long over here. Then goes to like long I equal to 0. Could just work out. And this becomes all of a sudden long column. Long current column. I mean, this can still continue with it. That's not a problem. Does that cause issues? Yeah, correct. That long will, no, that will not work out. No, it's not an issue of that. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Any thoughts, anyone? Do let me know. Okay, we just quickly check what the issue could be. It's on 990. Why can't we keep equals instead of dot equal and try here? So here we're not checking for equal to, we're just saying it has to be equal. Means we're assigning that value over there. So here we can't do dot equals. Here we can't do that. Okay, let me quickly just try to see what could be the issue. Okay. Second. Yeah. Something is up. We are missing out something. Let's quickly check it out, guys. 1 second. And see where the issue could be. Yeah, I think. Okay, so I think somewhere our hashes have gone wrong. That's what I can kind of see, at least from my understanding. I think probably something's gone off in our hashes. And grid 1 call equals 0 and in grid 2 call. Okay, if I did not do this, if I don't do something like that, if I remove that part, okay, still coming wrong. Something has gone wrong with our hashes, is what I can figure out. Else if, and this else ends here, right? Okay. Very strange. Very, very strange. Otherwise, the code is working well, except for this one. Show once the R equals method. Sure thing. Here you go. Is O correct? Mhm. I think something's gone wrong between O and E. This is E. This is O. Are we taking the input correctly? The input is a space. It's not a space, then you go ahead. Or let's change the input part, right? Let's change the input part. If the current equals to this, or current dot equals this, or current dot equals star. If it's any one of them, then only you take it. Maybe that works out. Still does not. Okay. So it's not the issue with the input part. Because let me just think a little bit more. Okay. I think we can change this one. I think something was wrong with this. Okay. So this and grid 1 column equals to this, and grid 2 columns equals to this. That would be better. Remove the unwanted continue is what you're saying. I mean, it's the same thing. We could, sorry. And here. We will solve it, guys. We'll solve it. Don't worry. We will solve this. Some edge case somewhere. Okay, not working. Continue. I have a hard time believing it's a continue that's causing this. But okay, if you insist. I don't think it's a continue though. It's causing that issue. Okay, remove the continue. Continue is not the issue over here. Yeah, we not even able to take sample inputs here, right? But we can give a few sample inputs. 1 second. Let me just take some sample input over here. These kind of places, let's take a sample input. So how would I take it? Okay, this is it takes input here. Grade 0. Right, so let me do this here, and let me also take another, basically input. So grid is equal to, let's put a sample input. I am putting, because I know that this could be the issue. So let me put this input here, this one here. So ideally something like this should give us O, right? This one should be giving us O at this point. Let's put a space and then an O, because I'm getting a hunch that that is the one that's causing an issue. Space and O. Legal start of expression. All right, because we have to do it here. Got it. We'll have to do something here. Oh, we are also doing this find alpha grid, right? For some reason. We should not be. Why were we doing that? Yeah, why are we doing that thing? That was unnecessary. Just to print out, right? We were doing that just to print out and see whether it's working or not. Okay, so that's still, yeah, but that was an unnecessary thing. Anyways, so I'm just going to say that this is the grid. Let's say this is just to take the sample input. And because n will also get changed, so I'll just take out n here and do this, but then I don't have to take any input and all over here. Okay, this will get, because I wanted to give this input. Okay, we'll have to just change a little bit over here. So make this other, for example. Let's see if it still works. All right, cool. All right, somebody's messaging me. Please don't message me right now. All right, yeah, this was the issue. We are getting an E for this, okay, which is an E. Let me just try to put a dot here and see if we get an O. This will not work, obviously. Just try to see if we get an O over here. Okay, so we are getting an O over here. It's not that we're not getting an O. Then why is it not working out? Let's put an I also after it. Okay, worst case first, I will release a solution on this, so that's not the issue. But yeah, so I want to make an I out of this. So in the I, this will be dot. This would be star. This would be dot. This is star again. And this is also a star. Yeah. So it should come OI. Yeah, it is coming OI. But fair enough, OI. And then, okay. So, but in the actual output, for some reason, it's not really coming. Hmm. Current guaranteed grid is not guaranteed to be always 3x3. It can be 3x2 or 3x1 because of this. So we have to check that as well. Fair enough. I understand what you mean to say over there. Okay. Yeah, so this is, I mean, our code does not seem to be wrong. If at all there's going to be some issue with the formatting of something, that's what's gone wrong, basically, is what I would say. Yeah. Just reverting it back. Mhm. Just reverting this back so that we can continue checking again. Yeah, so I get what you're saying over there. So let me just check here. In the case where, let's say, it is not proper, like it's not a 3x3 grid, right? Else I can just say, you know what? Flag is equal to false, right? I'll just create a flag over here just to check in that case. Again, I highly doubt that's the issue, but could be anything. Boolean flag equals to true. So if flag, then only do this. Let's say something like this. I see what you mean, because column is column plus 2. Will this always be the case? Yeah, no, I think that still works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. We might be missing a hash at the end because of this. No, not really. Okay. No, it can't be that reason. No, it can't be that reason. No. We're just doing something. I think it's an issue of Java and Python. Some formatting has gone wrong, is what I would think. Let me just check again if we're missing some issue. Okay. I'm also just checking whether there's some issue overall in our thing itself. Just trying to see. Have we missed something over here? I think so. If a hash comes, we're breaking it. It's not that we're not, we're breaking the hash. So we get an I. I think we have missed some part of it. Okay, this is very weird. Something to do with the space only. I think we have missed something in the space and the hashes. Give me 10 more minutes, guys. Otherwise, I'll just cover this in the next class. Don't worry. Equals to this dot, and 1 equals to this, and 2 equals to this. It's fine. I'm taking input, I'm checking. Then only append it. Otherwise, you can keep scanning the next one. Okay, let's give the final try also to that scan.nextLine part. Let me just try to see if that works out. And okay, so grade 0 is equal to scan.nextLine dot split this. All right, got it. Yeah, so finally the issue was in our input taking part. Finally, so there's nothing wrong with our logic, everybody, but the issue is in our input taking part, and the issue is because of the way Java takes input. So yeah, I think finally we did solve that by using this. So what's most likely happening, everybody, is wow, okay, that was a good debugging session. Who all is still here? If you're still here, please say I'm here. It's a good debugging session, and that's why I sometimes write in Python so that we don't have these input taking issues. But still, it's a good learning session that if you are here, you would have got it. So are you guys still here? How many of you are still here? Yeah. Okay, you want to understand what happened, what was wrong? There was nothing wrong in the logic. We did equals, this, that, and all of that jazz. That's fine. There's nothing wrong in the logic. The issue was in the way we're taking input. Yeah. So I'll tell you the issue. The major issue is the way we are actually taking input over here. The input issue was as follows. What was happening was, see, we are taking input till we reach the column numbers, right? So how was it happening actually? Let's look at this. It was taking this input. So this was number 0, right? So it's saying this input, okay, great. Then it takes this input, it says, no, you are a space, I don't want to count you, right? So I don't want to count you, so I'll not count you here. I'll go here, and then I'll count you as column 1, okay? Go here, ignore the space, count you as column 2, go here, column 3, here, then column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7, column 8, column 9, column 10 is when it was stopping, and then it went here and said column 11, right? And then what did it do after this? After this, what did it do, everyone? After this, see, at column 11, what is it? At column 11, is I still less than n? Yes, it is. I plus plus, it became 12, right? So at this point, this basically is I plus plus is becoming 12. Now, something is happening. What I can understand from this is there is basically, I could say, maybe there is a space further here. Maybe they've given a further space here. So when I do next time scan.next in, what will happen? It will basically take that scan in. So in theory, that should not be a problem, right? Like if that scan comes here, then it's not really a big issue as such, right? But for some reason, it was taking the next row, some element also as part of this row. So some of this element was coming in as part of this row. Now, why that was happening, we'll have to debug this and see that we made a mistake somewhere here in the way it's taking input, because it just doesn't make sense. It's taking input in the wrong way over here. So it's like something's happening here. Now you might ask, then how did this work out? This worked out because as simple as what this does is it takes the entire line, it'll take this entire line and it will split it up into an array of strings. By how will it split it up? Wherever there's a space, it will say that, okay, this is where the element ends. So for example, if I give it something like space this, space hash, space this, space hash, something like this, what it's going to convert it is it's going to take this and it's going to convert it into asterisk. I found a space. Okay, that's the next element, right? So that's the next element here. So it puts a dot here and then the next element here, and then again hash over here, hash over here, and so on, right? So basically it's going to take all of the elements separated by space and it's going to make each one of them individual elements of their own. That's what it's basically going to do, right? So yeah, the input taking was finally the issue over here, which again, by the way, guys, happens a lot in CodeVita. I mean, I cannot tell you the number of times the input is the issue. You just have to be patient and you have to continuously try to figure out where it went wrong. That's what you need to do. You need to continuously try to figure out where actually it's gone wrong. Try out some, I did this on the online editor, try it out on your system, try to give it different inputs and so on and see where it's gone wrong. So yeah, nothing wrong with the logic overall. It was just the way we were taking input. Did you guys understand this? How to take input like this instead? So what it is doing is the entire row it's taking, splitting it, and then making that row as my first row of the grid. Then there's a second row of the grid, and there's a third row of the grid. That's what it's doing. So did you all understand how this went about? This logic happened? Okay. So somewhere we were skipping elements. This was the major issue. Somewhere we were skipping elements. That's what caused the major problem. In the input taking, somewhere we've like not basically, we're continuously taking it, and somewhere probably there are double spaces, probably there's a character separately, something or the other has happened. Maybe, just maybe, there are characters which are, special characters other than this, so they've not given us the edge cases. It could just be that has caused the issue. So not sure, but yeah, something of that nature has become the problem. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. So that's it for today. Just to let you all know about the upcoming session, right? So just letting you guys know about what all you can expect in the next one. So tomorrow we don't have session. We directly have a session on Saturday where we'll be talking about more on arrays. One thing about the CodeVita is almost every question has a tutorial with it. Make sure you attempt the question and then go for the tutorial. Okay. Try out the question first and then go for tutorial. Just to give an example, if I go for calculations, for example, if I look at this area of crazy ring, it has a tutorial. It has a reading tutorial as well as a video tutorial. So before you actually go for it, before you watch the tutorial first, attempt the question and then only go for it. So this Saturday, we will mostly take up calculations questions. Tomorrow, we don't have a session. Tomorrow, you have a mock test. Go ahead and try out that mock test. And Saturday, we'll take up a session on calculations. And Monday, we will continue with our, I think probably 2D arrays or something. So do check out the schedules already there. You just need to check it out over here in the all upcoming classes part. You'll be able to see. So CodeVita, next one is calculations. It's on 19th March. Then 2D arrays, it's on 21st March. Then you have dynamic programming on 22nd March and so on. So it's written over here. You can just go ahead and check it out. It's mentioned over there. Right. Cool. All right, then. That's it from our side today. Any other last doubts? If it's clear, please say clear on the chat so that I know it's clear. So do say clear on the chat. So if it's clear, do just say clear and then we'll wrap up for today. Okay. All right, guys, please do give me a clear on the chat. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5. Right, more guys. There are many people still watching, so just want to see a clear from all of you. All right. Okay, that sounds good. That looks good. All right, everybody. That's it from our side again. Thank you for that. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you all. All right. So that's it from our side. I'll catch you all on Saturday's session. Thank you so much and see you next time.